Jaro. Obviously, I'm the founder of TREN Finance. Just a bit of background. I started my career as a proprietary trader. FX indices quickly went off into DeFi, and I got hooked on yield farming. As you guys probably know, DeFi summer was amazing. Then bounced here back and forth between projects. Built layer one in Abu Dhabi known as Phenom, and now I've just come back to the roots of where it all started, DeFi, by building this protocol TREN Finance. So let's go right into it. A bit of the problems that I see in the space. So my biggest reason for really building this is because I want to build a protocol that caters to people that have the same problem that I do, right? You have a lot of yields, you have LP tokens in your wallet. And the worst thing that you know in DeFi is when you can't use your tokens for anything else, right? When you have these LP tokens and you're not finding any compatibility in any other protocols, and they're just left in your wallet. I decided, why can't we fix this? Why do several protocols only have around like 28 supported assets, right? Like MakerDAO, most of them which are wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped Ethereum, staked Ethereum, so forth. So we decided to actually go ahead and build TREN. So basically the vision is, imagine day one, 100 pools are going to be launched, right? This can be anything from meme tokens to LP tokens, to even liquid restaking tokens, liquid stake tokens, vault tokens, all of that. And it comes down to the flexibility of the architecture. We've seen that lending overall is not new. CDP protocols are not new, but they still have the old approach of taking the shared pool architecture, right? All of the assets are in one pool, and adding one single asset to the pool is going to pose a major threat to the whole protocol. So we decided the securest way of doing it is isolated lending, of course. Now, this isn't new. There are a few protocols that have isolated lending. The only problem is they're trying to create a permissionless environment where anyone can create a money market, cool as it sounds, but people aren't supplying both of the assets to actually facilitate this. So we combined the isolated lending part with our own stablecoin called TREN USD, so we can actually provide liquidity to any of these isolated lending pools, ensuring that anyone can actually go ahead, put their assets in the protocol, and take out a loan of TREN USD. Now, keep in mind, this can be used for your LP tokens. This can be used for even your meme tokens, just to show how flexible it really is. But even vault tokens, on-chain options, and so forth, right? You can see one of the new use cases. Here we have someone that has their Pepe tokens. Thought it was a cool diagram to add so you guys could see as well. He wants to sell his Pepe. The other guy is putting his Pepe in the protocol to take out a loan and then pay off his fine. But really, this is just the simple use cases, right? The cool part about it is you have TREN USD, this stable coin, and you compare it with other yield generating assets to actually have a yield bearing stable coin, right? And the flexibility is you get to choose which asset you want to have yield from. You could have a real world asset in one pool, get stable coins from there, and get the yield from that if it's a yield bearing real world asset. It can even be staked ETH, it could be restaked ETH like what we're working on at the moment, and plenty more, right? Then next to that, we have leverage, so pure spot leverage from your assets. So it's different from SEXs or perp protocols. You're actually using your spot assets to just loop back into the protocol, right? So you're borrowing TREN USD, it's swapping it to your collateral assets and completing that loop. So this loop, it's really special for spot assets because, as we know, we're getting lots of rewards on these assets. One of the use cases that we have here is, for example, on Stargate, right? If I'm staking with my 10,000 USDC on Stargate, I can have $838 in a year. But if I use it with 30x leverage, I can get $25,000 in a year. Of course, it's hypothetical. We know that real life, the fees, slippage, and price impact, we do have to take that into account. But the same goes for Lido, with leverage staking, and soon even leverage restaking, which I'm very excited about. You guys can obviously tell. Here's a quick look at just the capabilities, right? Now, this isn't all fully finalized. There's going to be a lot more. Some are going to be taken out, but it's just to give you guys a sense of the vision here, right? On the one side, you have treasury bills. But on the other side, you have tokens like Pepe, Shiba Inu, Dogecoin. And on the other side, you have LSDs, even options, right? And even ALM vaults from Gamma, Arrakis, and so forth. Now, just before moving on to the next slide, I know a lot of you are probably going to ask, like, how were you able to do this in a safe manner, right? There's a reason why these assets have not been put in the protocol. Well, we wouldn't be able to do this if there weren't advancements being made in like Uniswap v4, TUM implementations, and a big part of it is actually being able to customize a pool to our liking, right? All these tokens are different. They all have different characteristics, different liquidity, different volatility, so forth. So why should the money markets for them have this one size fits all approach? The core idea is that every single money market can be tailored to the way that is most appropriate for that asset. That means different interest rates from variable to linear to even liquidity-based interest rates. And the one I'm most excited about is the time-weighted average market maker. So you guys probably know with traditional lending or CDP protocols, when you're putting in your asset here, say Pepe, you're taking out a $10,000 loan. Next time you come back, you've paid interest on that loan. You'll see that the TREN USD balance has increased, right? The TWAM actually allows us to liquidate collateral every single block piece by piece so that we don't actually just accumulate bad debt over time, right? As the loan increases, it's actually harder to liquidate that in the future. So our
Please
approach.
note, you have 1 minute left.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm rambling. This is going. Well, yeah. So the TWAM actually ensures that we can liquidate collateral piece by piece every single block. We tried to do that a couple of years ago before we were on the verge of this. We all know we would have to pay a ton of gas, but luckily for the TWAM, that's not the case. Next to that, we have a liquidation bot, which ensures that we're always safeguarding our bad debt. And this is also used to provide value accrual to the token. I only have 1 minute left, so let me just speak about the token. So the nice thing here is, as I just mentioned, we are the only lender, right? TREN USD, we're the sole provider of it, putting that into each of the markets that we have. So that means that all of the supply side interest is actually protocol revenue. So when you're looking at the borrowing fees, the borrowing interest, liquidation fees, that's all protocol revenue that's being used to buy back the token, then burn the token, which benefits all the holders in the ecosystem. A part of it gets allocated to stakers, which ensure security by staking their tokens. They get part of the protocol revenue, but if there is a shortfall event, they will have to cover that. I can tell my time is up.
Exactly.
So,
Nevertheless,
I'm
thank you
sorry.
so much. It's cool.
All right,
Like
5 minutes.
as we've seen before, it's quite a challenge to compress all
Yeah.
the features.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, a top-notch showcase, and I will kick off again with our beloved guest, bringing Kevin on for a question. Welcome back.
Hey, well, how you doing, Kaya? Thank you so much for bringing me on. There, a quick question for you.
Sure.
What are the fees for leverage trading, lending, and leverage restating, etc.? And how do you ensure that these are attractive enough for users from a risk to reward perspective?
The fees.
Yes.
So that's a good question. The main way that we kind of set these fees is it depends on the asset that we're offering. If we're offering an asset that uh, has been offered in all of these different protocols, the only way to be competitive is by offering fees that are lower, right? That's how you're going to get people to actually use the protocol. But if we're offering the assets that we have part of the long tail strategies, so they're niche, and we have a monopoly over them, it's not really about the fees because capital efficiency probably isn't the play there. Accessibility is. This is the only place where they're going to be able to use these assets. So in that sense, they are going to be higher than usual, but people should be happy that there is a place to use their assets. Otherwise, they're sitting idly on their wallets, right? A clear indication like a value I can't give. It really depends per asset, but that's a bit of the strategy behind deciding.
Okay. So slightly higher fees, but more accessibility to potentially higher gains as well as a long tail strategy, lower liquidity tokens.
Correct.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And do you have any more information on how you calculate those fees?
Those fees, it's really just looking asset by asset, looking at various on-chain metrics. For example, if they have if they have a high concentration of people that hold LP tokens, it's a bigger risk. If they have low volume, it's a bigger risk. All that kind of stuff. If low liquidity, it's a bigger risk. And depending on that, we use a combination of frameworks. We think Aave has a very good framework that they use, so their asset methodology framework. It's tried and tested. They have excellent guys looking at it, the guys from Gauntlet. So we take a lot of that into the approach as well.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Kevin. See you on the other side. I see we have one burning question coming up again from Alex from Aurora. How do you handle liquidations of low liquidity or high volatile collateral with a 95% capital threshold and 30x leverage?
Good question. I wouldn't know how to handle that because we don't. So there won't be a time when we use low liquidity tokens with 90% capital threshold. Like, to be honest, we said up to 30x, right? It's marketing. When I say up to 30x, I'm referring to like USDC, try to tested assets. But again, if it's like a low liquidity asset and part of the long tail assets that we choose, the play is accessibility and not capital efficiency. So they won't be able to get 30x leverage. Just have to be honest, right? They could be happy with a 5x leverage, but then again, can they go anywhere else? No. So they kind of have to choose. Sorry.
Got it. Thanks for the... Totally. I appreciate your honesty and Degens, chill out.
Yeah, 30x on chain. Nah.
It's mad. Also, clearly you're using tokens from different chains. Where is the protocol deployed, and can a user simultaneously use all 100 tokens as collateral?
Sure, they could. If there's TREN USD in each pool, enough for them to use all of them, sure, they could use them all at the same time. There is a difference though, like how they're using them, right? It's not the standard approach that they're putting in all of these tokens and they can take out one big loan of TREN USD. It's specific to the pool. So like they can't just have, if they're providing like $10 million worth of collateral in a pool that has like 0 TREN USD available, they won't be able to borrow, right? It really depends on the pool. Each one isn't money market by itself. Where's the protocol deployed on? Not deployed on yet. Launching on Ethereum, then Arbitrum, Optimism, but very open to other ecosystems. At the end of the day, we are blockchain agnostic and also narrative agnostic in that sense, because whatever the next hype narrative is, or where the interest is, we're very keen on integrating tokens and finding ways to put them into protocol.
Great interoperability for the win. Welcome back,
we have a bit time, right? So we have a question from our partner Majinx, Ruslan. What will be considered as your unfair advantage feature compared to competitors and similar products? How is your product different from what is already on the market, and why it is better?
Sure. So this product, the whole tech stack is really revolved around how to integrate what people would call the high-risk assets into a CDP protocol, right? How could a big competitor compete with this? Well, they couldn't. The big ones are Aave, Compound, so forth. Like we've mentioned, right? They're multi-pool, they're shared pool architecture. If they try to put in one asset and somebody manipulates an oracle, then yeah, the whole pool is gone. You know what I mean? So that's one big thing. And like I said, it's a long tail strategy, right? There's 2 ways to get to 100 million TVL. You can have 5 assets that contribute to 100 million with 20 million TVL each, or you could offer 100 assets that each contribute 1 million TVL. So it's looking for those niche opportunities, catering to a specific set of people, but being able to capture the market share there.
I see. Thank you. Kaya, do we have another questions, or we can switch to another page?
Yes, I believe we're also out of time, so let's keep on moving, considering everything. Daryl, thank you for your time today, and all the best with the...
Make sure to read the docs. There's a lot more in there.
Got it. You heard it, folks. Hey, have a good one. Cheers.
Good one. Bye.